Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Harpal Kocher, and so I'll be your main speaker today with both Shreya and Anisha. They'll both chime in every so often with their experiences. So, with that, here's the agenda that we'll be going through. We've broken it into four specific areas. Lessons that we learned from our journey that we can impart to you. So you can learn from our mistakes and maybe make new mistakes, but not repeat the mistakes we made so far. We'll also go over um, extracurriculars. They look like rocket science, especially for many first generation immigrant families like myself. We were not used to these concepts growing up in India. Um, and I made a very deliberate effort to go around that mindset and, of course, worked very hard with Shreya along the way on that. And finally, we'll finish off with the different types of virtual activities that can all be done remotely. Um, um, for lack of better words, Shreya's kitchen sink. And I am equally as guilty of creating this kitchen sink for her of her extracurricular activities over the 4 years when she was in college. And the ones I've highlighted are really the only ones that were impactful for her application. She made it all the way to a very good, fine, school, and she gets to go through Wellesley into MIT as well. But really, everything that she had on her list, and I know they've got these stories to talk about DECA and the challenges they faced with, Interact Club. Both the girls will talk about it. But really, what was meaningful were only these four activities, as I would call it: choir, theater, National History Day. Um, and again, I rate the usefulness um, of these activities only based on if you were able to bring this activity in your narrative, in your essays. So it's critical to understand when I say it's useful. It might look useful on the face of it, like, for example, leading the Achievers Summer Counselor or even biotechnology competition. But if you can't talk about your activity in the context of your essays, it's not worth it, because they will review it once, the admissions counselors, but if you don't explain it to them how meaningful this work was for you, they're going to forget it very quickly. They'll think of it as a kitchen sink only for you as well. So colleges are typically looking for a balanced profile across these six dimensions. Starts from GPA, demonstrated interest, essays, test scores, recommendation letters, and your extracurriculars. Now, in our experience and learning from different counselors I've talked to, including admissions officers at Wellesley and at Stanford, your grades matter 50% to the selection committee. Some schools, maybe even more, maybe the UCs are even higher on that. Public schools tend to focus on GPA and test scores a lot more. But the other restrictive or the other more selective schools, including the ones Anisha went to, the ones that Shreya went to, um, yes, 50% matters, but the rest, all five areas, depending upon the school type, some matter more, some matter less. So make sure your GPAs are in order. Now, if you don't have stellar extracurricular activities which are very stellar and coherent, and they show demonstrated interest, in going along a path, which we'll talk about it, how it impacts your application is your essays will not be very meaningful. You will be lost. You'll try to put stuff in your essays, make it a kitchen sink, but they will not come out good. For example, for Shreya's extracurriculars, we were able to use a lot of the work she had done with the different clubs in her essays to showcase the meaningful work she had done there. Demonstrated interest is about the research you've done about the school, or how much time in your school time, in your grades, have you done building up credits towards a particular target major that you're working on. So your demonstrated interest, if those two areas, if you've not worked enough on the college to figure out what they're about, how your extracurriculars and GPAs matter towards those, or the works you've done, then your demonstrated interest will not be as strong. So this is a little bit about myself. like most immigrant Indians who came in 20, 25 years ago, I came here to the US as an engineer. I have a bachelor's in computer science from India, Bombay, and I'm a software architect at Salesforce now. We live in Fremont with my two kids and my wife. We
I'm Shreya, as my dad said. Um, I in high school I struggled a lot. Like I and Anisha was there with me. We've been best friends since like 7th grade, and we struggled a lot. Like there was, I don't know, like in our freshman year, we tried to tackle all these clubs that people said were prestigious and that would look good on our resumes. And so like on my on the kitchen sink thing that my dad had shown earlier, you can see that next to that it's like 1 year on there. And those were like DECA and Interact, and I know Anisha did speech. Anisha, you can talk about that later too if you want. But I I got nothing out of those clubs, honestly. Move on to
Anisha,
it.
do you want to talk about yourself? Anisha, you're on mute. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Sorry guys, I don't know why the slide is like that, but just a little bit about me. Uh, I go to Northeastern and I'm a data science student. And
So, domination strategy. We now go into more details on specifically how you will, you know, go about knowing the process. Firstly, it's knowing your competition, knowing who you will compete against, which is a very critical thing that people don't think about. You think of competition as somebody in North Carolina, but it's not true. The competition really is your competition. You're being pitted against kids in your classroom in Mission or in San Ramon, wherever, from Davati, wherever you are. So knowing the competition, the gospel of specific areas to focus in the extracurriculars on, the importance of specific extracurriculars. We'll go into the good and the bad, and then we'll talk about specific extracurriculars as well. Okay, so knowing your competition and is, as I said, here's the profile of a stereotypical profile you will see of some of your peers. So make sure you're not a stereotypical profile like you are in your school. Life is simple, guys. You don't have to overthink the whole process. That's one of the mistake the system makes you believe you have to overthink, but you don't. This is the gospel. The four things for the extracurriculars you really want to think more about. So when you hear about like a well-rounded class, they're not looking at somebody at Harvard or at Wellesley or MIT is not looking to put together a well-rounded person who has 20 different skills. They're looking to put together a classroom of, in some ways, experts who bring perspectives. Like if you did painting, you've done a lot of work in that area. If you have an entrepreneurial perspective, maybe you worked and you built a business with somebody. If you're doing some econ major, which is area you're coming from, then you've actually done some research work. To them, a holistic class is a people who are in some way subject matter passionate people who've come all together. So quality of your extracurriculars is so much more important than the quantity. So don't try to join every sports club or every sports in your schedule. Be careful, right, of what you engage with. Make it more relevant, right? Extremely important. So relevant in terms of, if you are a business major at a particular school, you make sure that you can talk about the work you've done. Maybe you put together a social media plan for a business that you helped with. Consistency is very important in terms of showing demonstrated progress that you've made, and not just consistency in, like, for example, if you're playing piano, not just consistency in going up the grades in that. Consistency could very well mean something like how you taught something at some. Don't be boring, right? Your application, when somebody's reading an application, they need to bring a smile on their face. They should find it interesting, and that's a litmus test. Give your application, your essays to somebody, and just stand on their side and watch them look at it. Okay, watch their expressions change. If they can't read it and make sense of you in less than like maybe 2 minutes, you've done something not the best, right? So I would say literally like the first slide I showed you of Shreya's extracurriculars kitchen sink, Put that kitchen sink for yourself. Show your slide. Make one slide and show that to somebody and let them say if this is coherent. I'm happy to be that person for you as well. You can come to me and talk to me about it. Finally, really do what motivates you. Extracurriculars are this pain in the ass thing when you're doing something just for the college applications. If you are doing it something which you believe in, that you think this is going to make a difference to who you are, it'll show. This, some of you probably are going to cringe at this because this is probably what many of you are doing today. Kind of the kitchen sink here. General membership to school clubs, basic participation. Oh, this person was a member of the track team. Oh, he took karate for 5 years. Oh my goodness. Scary stuff. Participation in the marching band. General volunteerism. Oh, for 3 days last year, he went and he or she helped at a food bank, and sometime they do something for a senior center. Oh, this was the best one. I took a week-long trip to Africa. I built homes over there. Give me a break, guys. If this is what your application is looking like, it's going to be problems when you know, because they will read through it. They can see this is a master consultant working with you who is trying to put something together. This is not passion of the kid.
I kind of would like, our answer would be like research. If you can do that at your, like at a college nearby you, like it would also be great if you participated in some kind of program. Like Anisha and I are running our own program for students to learn Python and kind of how to apply that to interdisciplinary things. And actually one of our focuses is on bio and neuroscience. And so like that's a great way to like get going, because that's a research project and you'll be getting something tangible out of it. So in general, for all of these majors, you would want something tangible coming out of it.
Yeah, sure. Building on the previous question, examples for aspiring bio majors, like, you know, you could do the basic stuff like, you know, join a club at your school, you know, take those respective AP classes just to show your interest. And then if you want to go like outside the box, like contact professors at universities and ask them, like, you know, if you can like be part of their research team or just like, you know, shadow them or anything like that. That shows a lot of interest.
How do you get started? Upfront planning. First thing is trust your instincts. Very important. You instinct, not your parents' instinct, not your dad's instinct, your instincts. Taking ownership of your career, knowing who you are, why you are is super important. Having a vision, defining a vision. And I'll talk about what this is, not a grandiose Elon Musk vision over here, but a vision of what you want to do, okay? And then putting a multi-year plan together around it. So how does this thing start? You know, you have to make a start, right? If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there, but that's okay too, right? Just make the beginning. Like I said, have a bias for doing stuff, trying a few things out. You need to make a start with having a vision for the future. Like right now you have a state where the state of the country is in a mess right now, and the vision, you have a vision for yourself or for where you want to be in the world, right? A dream that you dare to believe in, a desire to change the status quo, something which is blocking you today. I mean, all those are things which start you off in the extracurriculars, right? They literally build who you are. So don't take this as just a process that you have to go through. Oh my goodness. I mean, let your core guts as a personality show up with this thing, okay? Okay, so now we're going into the final section, which is the sample virtual extracurricular activities. But this is the virtual ECs that you can do today. We'll start from talking about the summer research program that these girls have done. This is doing really well. They did that in the winter, and now they're doing a summer research now. I'll talk about why TED is such an amazing place to find opportunities, and we'll talk about that, volunteer services. We'll go through the entire list. But without further ado, Shreya or Anisha, whoever is going to talk about the summer research program, Python program, Please go ahead for a couple of minutes.
So the Python research program is basically a program that Anisha and I founded this winter. It was something that we started in my backyard, just thinking about, how could we enrich high school students' experience? What could, like, honestly, like, I'm a computer science major right now, but I didn't really know how to code until my senior year, the second semester of my senior year, because I was scared of it. And I guess the purpose of this program, more than anything else, there's two things. That one, making coding something that's not scary for people anymore, and two, get something out of it. So like, all of our students get a research project kind of out of this program. Like, we'll be offering, we have our introductory course, which is just basically like learning Python, the syntax. It's pretty straightforward. We did kind of a combination of these two courses, the 101 and the 201, like the research aspects, and the introduction together this winter, and it was very rushed, but our students picked up quite a bit of knowledge. It was 2 weeks long, and so after that we realized that doing something over the summer, which would be a lot longer, where students could pick up more skills, would be a lot more useful. So we'll be doing it over the course of the summer. There's going to be plenty of opportunities for students to join.
Next up is, I'm a big believer in TED Talks. There's a way to actually get into TED, and you don't have to go into actual TED, but these can be local chapters of TED and you can apply to them. And there's so many local chapters, guys. There's one, you can take a chapter which is out of maybe Concord, California, or somewhere in Ohio, and you could just go and speak over there, and it's all virtual right now. So, and ultimately you get a recording on TED. That's pretty cool stuff. You can review some of the TED Talks that students have already given that motivate students' creativity, which can also help you with a lot of extracurriculars for yourself. This one actually I learned from one of the admissions officers at Harvard, which was interview a famous TED Talk author. This is pretty cool stuff, which is, you can reach out to a lot of these people and they'll talk back to you. They'll actually respond back to you. And for high schoolers, they respond back to them. So prepare some questions ahead of time. Actually, I do this with a lot of my kids, help them out with this. But think of the Rolodex you are dealing with. The 2,600 TED Talks have been given already. At least 2 of them will respond to you. Okay, you don't have to send emails to all 2,600, but reach out to a few of them and talk to them. You can just talk to them about how was high school like for you? How did you become where you are? What do you think I should do different? Just some basic questions. Volunteer services, these 2 organizations, I actually went to their websites. Again, the links are all there in that presentation which I gave to you. There are actual opportunities right now, okay, virtual opportunities for kids. You can just take up on these websites, which I found really, really nice by zip code. I found some within 20 miles of my house, and I'm going to be having Dia look at those, my younger daughter. But these were very good. This third point was very good, asking a teacher from a previous school year about being a virtual TA in an incoming class. I mean, you can reach out to one of your middle school teachers or even one of your elementary school teachers and ask them, saying, hey, I've got some time, can I help some of your kids? And just start picking some points, guys. It's all about picking up some of those right points and putting that strategy around for yourself. Volunteering with local shelters. Again, most of you guys are here in my Bay Area, so I'm just giving you that list here. But clothes, just taking some of your clothes from your house and delivering them, and then talking to one of the wardens at the local shelter and saying, hey, can I be of some help to you guys? They can help. You can help with technology. Most of you kids are experts at Google Classroom and all of this stuff. In fact, the other day, but 2 weeks ago, Shreya taught me how to use Google Classroom, and I'm using it now with all my sales course students. And I was like, this is cool. I can give assignments. I can work with them on different areas of the application using Google Classroom. So teach that to, in these local shelters, teach them how they can use some of these things. These are local Fremont shelters who need help now for homeless and for domestic violence victims. You might, just by doing these, you might find a career away from just boring computer science, right? I mean, I don't think of you guys as boring, but if if all you're going to do is just be a CS major, that's kind of boring. Just do something really fun with CS. Left on the call, complete online course, at Coursera. These are like the popular courses on Coursera. Then become a TA for the same course, and the authors of these courses are very happy to take on teaching assistants who can help some of their kids, and because their goal is that should not quit the course. So the more the TAs that can build a one-on-one relationship with the people who are taking these MOOCs or these courses, they're always happy to get you on. Religion, all of you are in some form really associated with religion. So, reach out to your community head, and there are a bunch of unemployed, people right now, and there are kids at home of these people in the community who need help. Start building, with the outreach for, coordinating of food or money, cooking meals, have your mom or dad cook some meals and send them off to senior citizens, teaching religious beliefs to younger kids in the congregation. All this stuff matters a lot, especially if you are going to apply to a Jesuit school, which is like a Villanova or something. They will kiss you on both your cheeks if you can tell them about some of these good things you've done, right? I mean, you never know which school you apply to. Like, there's a great school called Santa Clara University here in the Bay Area, which is a Jesuit school. And if you've done some of this work, this is going to be great for your application. And it'll get you not just in the school, you'll get you a damn good merit scholarship. That's what your goal is. Most of the kids I'm talking to right here are not duds. They've all got very good GPAs. It's how much merit scholarship can you get from the school? You're not going to get financial aid, because most of the people I'm talking to on this line are beyond that strata. They will not get financial aid, but you can get merit scholarship. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Much appreciated. Bye, guys. Take care.